Hey everyone, this is Daniel.
And I'm Jun,
And we are
Korean.
American.
I think we naturally know the length of our intro music now.
I think that time you started too soon.
Really?
We'll see.
Anyways.
June, how was your Salal?
설날. I don't know if I talked about this before, but our 설날. Okay, maybe my brother's listening to this. Wait, I have to think. Whatever. I personally think our family's 설날 is very dull and boring.
You've said that before. You do the same thing every year.
I know exactly what's going to happen from the beginning to end.
Yeah.
Because I think, number one, we're not a large family.
Yeah, you and your brother neither are married.
Yeah. And then even if we include our extended family, a lot of those folks are not married either. So all in all, it's just 6 of us.
Yeah.
And we're not like very animated, as you can tell by my demeanor.
Yeah.
So it's just like 6 of people like me.
Very quiet.
Very quiet, calm.
Respectful, courteous.
Yeah.
I see.
Anyways.
Okay, this is totally off topic.
Yeah.
I feel like Koreans like that tradition, like that predictability, right? They like doing the same thing every year the same way. Is that not true?
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't noticed that because I'm Korean.
Interesting.
But yeah. I like to hear your takes on that.
Maybe I just like it then, personally. I love traditions. Yeah.
I love traditions too.
Okay.
The thing that I don't like about Korea. Okay, I'm going to talk about Japan again.
Oh, okay. Our listeners expect it at this point, June.
See, okay, compared to Japan, I want to be diplomatic here.
PC.
Yeah. Okay. There are a lot of things in Japan that are so frustrating because they want to stick to tradition.
Yeah.
For instance, like the use of faxes. And like
really? They use fax machines still?
Yeah.
Wow.
And like government tasks and all that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I appreciate about people trying to maintain their tradition is that, I don't know, there's a beauty. There's a type of beauty into people trying to maintain something that in modern life doesn't make sense, or it's not efficient or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just a good feeling that there's a higher value than utilitarianism.
Oh, yeah.
Because in Korea, everything is about utility.
It's still more optimized for just utility.
Efficiency, optimization, and everything. And to achieve that, they have, I feel like modern Korea, they don't have an issue of throwing out tradition. So the same thing happens in 설날 in my family too.
Yeah.
I jokingly said this time that I wanna make a compilation of the photos that I took of the 설날, the table, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The 설날 feast table every year to understand how it's becoming more abbreviated.
Oh.
To the point.
It's like a time lapse of your Salal table. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was growing up, when I was little, and when we had 설날 at my grandmother's place, everything was so legit, formal.
Yeah.
And there was like a sense of sacredness,
a
little bit, tradition, and like there's a way of preparing food and something that you can put on the table and you cannot. And I understand that maybe I'm saying this because I wasn't the person who was in charge of preparing everything.
Yeah.
So I might be selfish saying this, but there was a beauty into that, like trying to maintain something. This time, this year, we didn't even bow.
Wow.
We had like food on the table and everyone just sat.
Yeah.
And then we were like, pray, and then now let's eat.
Is this your first time not bowing?
It was the first time.
Wow. I feel like that is a big break from tradition.
It is.
Yeah.
But it was gradually becoming more and more shorter and shorter every year.
Yeah. You know, I went to my 할머니's house, my grandma's place, and we also had the kids do sebe and things like that. But I will say it did also feel a little bit forced. I don't know. It's weird, right? It's like, why are we doing this? It's so outdated. But I really want them to keep doing it. Yeah. And this is probably more 70s mindset material. Because I would say, I don't think it feels that way in the US. I think Korean Americans living in the US have to cling so desperately to like whatever Korean culture they have remaining that they do hold it a bit sacred.
Yeah.
Whereas in Korea, you're immersed in it. You don't think that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it's also, it's not only because you're minority there, but it's also because I think American culture in general, they value tradition more than they do in Korea.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, Americans love traditions. There's so many ridiculous ones. Yeah.
Or I can also say that Korean people are way too utilitarian. That at some point, I don't even think it's an Asian thing.
Yeah.
Because Korean people are way more utilitarian than, I don't know about China, but
Japan.
than Japan.
Interesting. Yeah.
Korean Japanese podcast.
Oh, this is a good topic. I wonder if we should just keep talking about utilitarianism.
Yeah.
And traditions.
Yeah, I can rant about this all.
Okay.
Yeah, on and on.
Let's do that. Let's just talk about traditions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we?
Yeah.
Traditions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, let's just see where it goes.
Yeah.
I think as a Korean American, I think a lot of my traditions were more Korean traditions or I think like Korean versions of American traditions. I don't know, like Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving table, we always had kimchi and galbi in addition to like the American stuff. But really I'm thinking of one of my brother-in-laws, I guess, my wife's sister's husband. He's white and American, right? And when he talks to me about the traditions they had growing up, I mean, they're awesome. They're also kind of ridiculous. But the one I'll share is, I think every birthday they had a special plate, like just a ridiculous plate that had like a funny cartoon and it said like, birthday boy or birthday person on it. And him and his sister is like, when they talk about it looking back, it's ridiculous, right? But as kids, they really look forward to eating off of the birthday plate on their birthday. Like that's what they look forward to.
Yeah.
Right. And when I hear that, it's like so heartwarming and it's awesome, right? He'll probably carry that on with his own kids in the future. But I don't know. I feel like those kinds of things, are they commonplace in Korean culture?
Again, I have to talk about utilitarianism again, because even if there were certain things like that, I think it's so natural for Koreans to think, is this worth it? Is this efficient? Right?
Yeah.
Does this make sense all the time?
Yeah.
And they just want to not do it anymore at some point. I think tradition is substituted by trends in Korea.
Yeah.
Which is very, I think, transient.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So, again, one ridiculous so-called modern tradition in Korea is the wedding proposal tradition, right?
Yes, you were talking about that. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't even want to say that it's a tradition.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to be a tradition.
I see.
It's not going to become a tradition, but it's like a very short-term tradition, if you will. And it's so vain and materialistic.
Yeah.
And utilitarian.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, because the utility is your social cred in a sense, right? Is that what you're saying?
And also the luxury bag.
I see. Yeah. You're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wait, I want to go back to that. That's a really good line. So you think in Korea, traditions are replaced by trends?
I think so.
Because I think those are opposite, right? Traditions are things that remain over time, maybe don't change that much, that you just do over and over and over again, right? Whereas trends are, again, very transient and like they come and they go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
The reason why I put those two together is because the common ground is that there are things that everyone do together.
Yeah.
But the things that everyone does together in Korea are the trends and not the traditions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I am curious though, why don't we take turns like thinking through in our childhood, what traditions did you have as a family?
Like our family traditions?
So it's even interesting that you say that. I think when I think of the word tradition, I immediately think of what are family traditions that we had. Not necessarily, I think you immediately went to what are cultural traditions that everyone does. Like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
It is crazy, but if I think about it, I don't think the concept exists that much in Korea, like a family tradition.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean...
It's again, it's related to individualism and relativism.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's because there's
Collectivism, I think.
collectivism. Yeah, it's because in Korea, in general, there aren't a lot of things that only your family does or only you do. It's something that is related to everything. So if you do it, it's like a cultural tradition, and it's not a family tradition.
That's interesting. Like I always, of course, I knew Korean culturally was like more collectivist. But even you're saying at the family unit, I thought like, oh, there might be family individualism, if that makes sense, right? Like this family is different from that family.
Yeah.
But you're seeing even as a family unit, it's still collectivist.
Yeah, there might be things, little things that each family do,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're not tagged as tradition, I think.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. I mean, do you want to go through some of mine then? And maybe this will spark some things for you.
Okay.
I think like for me, let's say Thanksgiving, it was always kind of everything was the same, right? So one tradition was our church that we went to growing up. Wednesday before Thanksgiving night, we'd always have ice skating. So we'd go rent out an ice skating rink, and 9 to 12, we just ice skate, right?
Interesting.
Thanksgiving morning, one tradition was, playing football. So you'd go either with the neighborhood friends or maybe like some sort of organized tournament or something. It's called the Turkey Bowl.
Yeah.
You just go play football together, flag football. Throw the pigskin around, right? And then of course, like one of our traditions was we didn't have alcohol at home, but we'd always drink sparkling, like what is it? Like grape juice, sparkling grape juice.
Yeah.
Was our replacement. So we'd
Yeah.
have that every Thanksgiving dinner, right? And then one tradition my family had was me and my brother every Friday morning, we'd wake up early and go line up for Black Friday, like doorbuster sales, back when that was like a huge deal, right? Before it turned into online everything.
Yeah.
And then I think that was our Thanksgiving. Christmas, for example, we'd always try to watch a movie together on Christmas Day. Some people have traditions like, oh, they'll order in Chinese food, right? But yeah, that was like I guess, some of our holiday traditions. Yeah.
God, it still hasn't sparked anything.
And
I'm like trying to listen to you
Yeah.
and like desperately trying to
think of something.
Yeah.
One of my brother's family traditions, and I think they got it from my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, is every Christmas Eve, the kids get to open one present, and it's always a set of matching pajamas. And so they always take pictures with that, right?
Aw.
Or another tradition that I know my sister-in-law has is with her best friend, every year they exchange Christmas ornaments. So they have like one ornament every year, right, for as long as they've been friends, right? So, I mean, these are just things that I think evolve or each family does. And a lot of them do get carried forward. And I'm sure if me and my brother and sister were to sit around and talk, they could think of a lot more, and like we'd come up with all these things that our family did growing up. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. It makes me feel, I don't know, kind of close at home, right, with others. So
Okay. I thought about one thing,
okay,
but I don't know if I can call this a tradition.
Yeah.
Because we don't do it religiously. But I think my family really likes to play Yutnori.
oh, Yutnori, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
tradition. Yeah.
They even do it off holidays too sometimes.
Yeah.
So that could be a tradition.
Yeah.
You know what Yutnori
Oh
is?
yeah,
right?
I love that game. Yeah, it's a traditional New Year's game.
It's very well made.
Very strategic.
Yeah, it is. It's a good board game.
I think you mentioned that your family gets in fights over it, right?
Yeah,
A lot of
heated.
bitterness, heated.
Which is very rare for my family.
Yeah, because you said it's very calm like
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
The equivalent in my family growing up was Monopoly.
Monopoly, yeah. Monopoly's great.
The game never ends, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, people, stop talking to each other for many days over it.
But if you think about Monopoly, it's such an American game.
Oh, trying to make it ultimate
It's so
capitalistic.
capital. Yeah. You learn how harsh society is.
Yeah.
You lose everything, and then you understand what capitalism is,
Yeah.
right? The rich gets richer, poor gets poorer. Yeah.
Jun, does Yutnori have any cultural implications? Is it a reflection of Korean society in some way?
That's a very interesting question. Maybe it does. But like the five, it's basically a die.
Yeah,
right?
the terms for 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5.
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. They all have a representation of an animal.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Do is pig. Ke, I think, is a dog. I don't know about the rest. I
But
think
each of the numbers represents an animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Jun, there's a few quirks about Yutnori. I want to see if you can think of any cultural implications.
Yeah.
One is you can only take the shortcuts
Mm.
at certain spots, right?
Yes.
And if you miss them, you're kind of screwed. I wonder if that's something.
That's exactly like Korean society.
In what way?
I haven't noticed that. In what way?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are certain things that you have to do at certain ages in Korea. And if you miss that,
Yeah.
there's like no turning back.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you miss that milestone or marker
Yeah.
in your life,
Yeah.
you can't do anything about it.
Okay, this might be a tangent a little bit,
Yeah.
but at work,
Yeah.
this just happened yesterday.
Okay.
We're trying to develop an app, basically with AI, and we're brainstorming about what this AI could do for us.
Mm-hmm.
And something that someone wrote down got the most votes. And
Yeah.
You know what it was?
No.
It was, I wish the AI told me in my life timeline how many chances that I have.
Wow.
And that got the most votes.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
What's that mean? Like chances?
Like, it's literally, they said like how many chances, 기회, that I have in my lifetime.
Okay, you got to expand on that word. I feel like that's a good Korean word.
기회?
Yeah.
Like opportunity, chances.
Isn't every day an opportunity?
That's like optimistic American thinking. It's like Koreans, you only have certain chances in your life.
Oh man.
As ridiculous as that thing sounds,
Yeah.
I was more surprised that it had the most votes.
It clearly resonates with Koreans.
Yeah.
Let me try to go through the chances.
Yeah.
What family you were born into.
Yeah, 금수저, 은수저 narrative.
Okay.
Yeah.
What your Sunyoung score is and what college you get into.
Oh, you know more than me. Yeah.
Okay.
That's another chance. And then what
When you graduate college, what
Yeah.
career company you can get into
Yes.
in the entry group.
공채. Yeah. Public recruitment.
Public recruitment.
Yeah.
I guess, getting married, so who you can meet and date.
Yes. And
Is that all the chances? There's more than 4?
no, you have to buy a house.
When you could buy a house
Yeah.
affordably. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of related to what family you're born into, maybe? No? Different?
But I mean, it also relates to who you marry.
Okay. But when could I when was my opportunity to own a home, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a combination of luck and, basically being able to find an affordable house
Yeah,
maybe
and then
before it goes up.
Yeah, and then the cycle starts again when you have a kid.
Okay. So all those 5 chances for their kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
We should make a board game called the 5
5
chances.
Wait, June, there was this idea in modern Korean society amongst the youth of like pogi, like giving up. Sampo, is that it? Sampogi?
3포 세대.
And it went up to like 5포, 7포, like giving up on these things, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were? I wonder if it reflects those 5.
I don't even know.
Okay.
Let me do a quick research.
I think the original 3 were getting married, owning a home, and having kids. Right? And then it extended beyond that. Like, well, I can't even do this, but
You know what it's called now? I searched Google.
구포기, right?
Now it's called Npo.
Npo? Infinite?
N meaning like, yeah, a variable.
Npo.
Npo. Okay, so for 삼포, I'm looking at 나무위키 right now. It's being in a relationship, getting married, and having kids.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So not owning a home. They slowly started adding things that they just
know.
realized, like, we just give up.
Now it's Npo.
Npo.
So
We've reached endgame. Giving up in Korea, June. This is sad.
okay, so the 3 on top of the 3, right? Relationship, marriage, and having kids. It's getting a house, and then all types of relationships.
Wow. Any human connection. They've just given up.
Now I'm curious of what chilpo is.
What could be added? What more is there to lose?
I don't even know.
Do you want to look up chil and gu? Because I heard it went up to gupo as like a term, and then probably it went up to npo.
How do you know about this?
It was a lunchtime conversation.
I'm impressed. chilpo 세대, chilpo. Okay. I wish there was a table.
You need to create one.
Classic Korean. I need more efficiency. Okay. So 칠포 is on top of the 5.
Yeah.
This is so bad. The next 2 is dream and
Oh my.
hope.
Which are similar, but basically no hopes or dreams for the future.
Yeah. Now 구포. 구포 is on top of the 7, which is again relationship, marriage, having kids, buying a house, all types of human relationship, dreams and hopes. Okay, the next 2 is not that bad.
Okay. Relative to dreams and hopes.
Physical appearance
Oh.
and then health.
That's pretty bad though. You're just giving up on life at that point, right?
What's left if you give up on all these?
Exactly. 9? I mean, at least they haven't given up on happiness yet.
Yeah.
I think the fact that happiness is not included yet means Koreans don't really think about happiness as an ideal.
That's what I think.
Right?
Now that you say it.
Yeah.
Because happiness, I think Korean people, again, very utilitarian.
Yeah, they don't care.
It comes from the combination of all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Fascinating.
구포, 삼포.
No, to me it's more fascinating that like the concept of happiness as a root goal or desire in life is just not a thing for Koreans.
Oh, you know what's interesting? The overarching theme is that they give up on all these things because of economical reasons.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah.
Oh, you knew that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to highlight how it's so important.
For money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money is like the answer for all happiness.
Jun, do you know a very famous line from the Declaration of Independence, which the United States was founded upon? Our founding fathers stated as the end goal that all humans should be able to have.
Whoa, that was a big statement. No, I don't know. It wasn't.
This probably will sound familiar to you. The 3, I think, core ideals that all humans should have access to is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
I think that makes sense.
That's literally ingrained in American culture and society from our origins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just, okay. But it highlights the difference, right? Like life, like living, right? Like, and liberty, personal freedoms, right? To do what I want, to have the religion I want, to believe what I want, to pursue what I want. And like the ability to try to be happy in your life, right? Like these are some core basic ideals that all Americans think every human should have.
See, what I wanted to say is that I think Korean society lacks that kind of fundamental philosophy of what they are.
Well, it has Confucianism, right?
I don't think we ever stated that officially. It was just a part of culture.
Interesting.
And because it doesn't have a foundation, it's easy to just throw it away.
It's very philosophical.
Yeah. I think...
Is there no founding document when like South Korea was formed, right? As a democracy, let's say in like the 80s, late 80s, right? Is there some like founding document or...
I think there's a constitution.
Okay. But that just dictates, I guess, the way that we will run the country.
Yeah.
Right? Not the cultural norms or ideals.
I don't think so. I mean, there must have been, maybe, but it's not as important.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing that I lack. Yeah. And because there's no foundation that they can step their foot into, it's so easy that they just chase money and wealth.
Wow, it all came back full circle.
Yeah.
Traditions are lacking.
Yeah.
Because there's no common origin point, let's say.
Yeah.
Or set of ideals or principles that really dictate Korean culture. Honestly, Jun, this is really making me understand Korea a bit better. Because, it was easy for me to dismiss, Korea is just like so shallow, or everyone just cares about money. It's so materialistic, right? But there's a reason, and there's nothing else in the absence of, other core guiding principles or philosophies. Something's going to become king, right? And it just became money. Yeah, interesting.
I don't know. This is totally unrelated, but something that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something related. I don't know. And we might cut this out. Because I went to architecture school, and there was a panel discussion with like very famous architects talking about 9/11 and the Freedom Tower. There was one architect who said something, and I really resonated with that, saying like, why don't you just build the World Trade Center exactly inch by inch up again?
Replicate it.
And that would be so much more of like a symbolic gesture.
That would be very powerful.
Yeah,
I agree.
of like, we don't care. Like we can do it again. Like it's like, that's the essence of resilience, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that would be really cool if they just built
I
it up
agree.
again.
I'm
Yeah.
almost in tears, really,
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I talked about this.
Oh, that was the whole point.
But resilience, right?
Resilience is maybe also like grounded in tradition, right?
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to mention, piggybacking off of Sampo, like giving up these three things. I think another root of tradition is, carrying it forward to your future generations. But if Koreans are giving up or never even think about having future generations, then of course tradition's not going to mean much to them.
Yes.
Right? I think another maybe more tragic, I want to bring this up because I often find that my parents' generation, they don't talk about how they grew up very much. And it's almost like there's a sense of shame to it, like how poor they were. And maybe I've mentioned this before, but I think it should be celebrated how poor Korea was and how much it's grown since then. Like that to me is an amazing turnaround comeback story. But when I asked my dad, like, oh, what did like you and your grandparents and your great-grandparents like talk to me about them? And, what did you do as a family? What were the traditions? They're very always, it feels hesitant to talk about that time, and they don't have much to talk about, right? So if I'm going to just like put my lens to it, I think when you're as a society or culture or family or whatever, when you're just struggling to survive, it's really hard to maybe find traditions. Maybe traditions is something that comes out of like abundance and wealth. It's like, because when you're just thinking about, oh, where is the next meal coming from? Yeah, you probably just can't even think about traditions at that time, right? You're just like struggling to survive. So I don't know, maybe there's some of that too.
Maybe it's also related to the fact that there aren't a lot of memorable things. And maybe it's not because they're shameful of that era. Maybe it's because they literally don't have a lot of memories.
That could be true too.
Yeah. I heard that memories are very strongly related to the variety of things that you do. Like many different things, they have like strong memory and it's engraved in your memory system. But if there's not a lot of things that happened and it's just the same day every day, yeah, that's just another hypothesis that I have.
Interesting. Yeah. I want to bring up something similar there.
Yeah.
I said this at the beginning, but I think it's more thought out now. Koreans, I do think, maybe lack tradition, but they love routine, right?
So okay, tradition is substituted by routine
Maybe.
and trends.
And trends, right?
Yeah.
Because routine, right? Koreans, I don't know, when heshik, it's the same every time, right?
Yeah.
You go to a gogi restaurant, you have, coffee or dessert, then you have karaoke. Like, it's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get the sense Koreans love and thrive on those routines.
That's true. Maybe that's lack of creativity.
Creativity too. I was going to say that.
I want to get into routines a little bit more.
Okay. Wait, before we get into routines, I just want to wrap it up because there was a second thing that I think is core to Yutnori, and I wanted to see if you had any reflections on that. So the second one is you can choose to group as a team.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And move together.
Yeah.
And this is very high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you think that's like some reflection of Koreans. Do they really, are they a very high risk, high reward type society? But
wow, I think you have very shrewd observations and insights for Yutnori, and we can make a whole episode out
just
of this.
Yutnori as a reflection of Korean life.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
And also, you know how you can catch up someone and then they die?
Yeah, yeah.
Competition.
Yes, yeah.
And they have to start all over.
It's so tragic.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. You can catch up to the other player and knock them down.
Yeah. Because that doesn't happen in Monopoly. You just stay at the same place.
You can share a space.
But you have to pay for it.
Oh, that's
but in Korea, you knock them down. Drag them to hell.
Yeah.
Make them start all over again.
A big strategy in Yutnori is like, oh, who can catch up to me and knock me over? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways.
Okay, back to routines.
Routines, yeah. It's so interesting. I have the same rant about just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
And so I literally sometimes say, if you're gonna do the same thing again, I'm just not
Not gonna go.
because it's just the same thing. They eat the
Yeah.
same type of food. Like
Yeah.
they order chicken and sometimes pizza.
Talk about the same things.
Talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
Drink the same alcohol. And it's like I was like, why don't we just go watch baseball?
Yeah.
Or like do something, right?
Yeah.
They just like, oh, 귀찮아.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the word 귀찮아 mean again?
귀찮아.
Cumbersome.
귀찮아, yeah. I think it's one of those words that you can't 100% translate.
Uh-huh.
And I think it governs a lot of Korean people's demeanor
Yeah.
in not a good way.
Yeah, this is right. Okay. It's like if you ask someone to customize something for you, they're going to feel like it's 귀찮아. Yeah.
It's just maybe my perspective, but I feel like the underlying theme of everything that's inconvenient in Korea boils down to 귀찮아. Yeah. Because you might ask, like, why aren't you customizing this? Oh, it's because my boss says so. Like, why don't you ask your boss to do this? Or blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, it's because it's just 귀찮아.
And let me maybe project a bit.
Yeah.
This is also, I suspect, why your table is getting less and less extravagant. It's just 귀찮아, right?
Yeah, it's just 귀찮아.
Why do all this work when we're just going to throw it away anyway?
Yeah.
There's no utility to it.
Yeah.
So 귀찮아 is really against tradition, maybe.
Yeah. Cumbersome, hardship, tiredness all combined together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think Koreans in general, if I were to talk about all these glorious traditions I had that I love and held so dearly, would you think they would just be like, oh, that sounds so 귀찮아?
Yeah, and it like throws you off a little bit. It even the people who try to maintain the tradition, just by those words, it makes you feel stupid. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
It's just yeah. I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
귀찮아. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How do we get here? Routines.
Routines. Yeah. I want to get more into routines. Why do you think Korean people are? Okay, one of my takes was there aren't a lot of things to do in general. And also, I think lack of creativity.
I think it's a bit chicken and egg, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many, maybe not things to do because Koreans aren't looking for new things to do, right? It's like, it's hard to say which one came first, right?
And maybe it's related to optimization, right? They want to optimize things. Like, I think diversity naturally comes through sacrifice of optimizing.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's inefficient to have
Yeah.
a variety of things.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so if
true.
Korean people are so obsessed of optimizing things,
Yeah.
why would they want to try this out and then that out? They just want to do the same thing again and again, which is a very safe choice.
Gene, I'm about to blow your mind. You ready?
Shoot.
And this is why trends are such a thing in Korea. They're waiting for that new thing.
Maybe.
And as soon as there is a new thing that's safe and popular,
Yeah.
everyone gravitates towards it.
Maybe that's it.
So they're a society waiting for something new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe they, for whatever reason, creativity or others,
Yeah.
they're lacking it.
Yeah.
But as soon as it comes along, they all rush to it because they're craving something new.
Maybe that is.
Oh, interesting. We cracked the nut.
We cracked the nut.
Everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I really think we're getting into something.
I think, I mean, okay, here's one thing I'm going to say without thinking too much. Americans I think humans love routines, right? Did you watch Westworld?
Only the first episode.
Oh, the first season is so good.
Yeah.
Season 2 is pretty good too. I heard it went off after that, downhill. But a core part of Westworld, right, is that they're robots, right? And they're programmed in these loops, right? But a core theme of the show is like, you know, what is a robot? What is a human? Because at some point you can't tell. And this is a core philosophy in computer science too. The Turing test is basically if you're interfacing with the computer and you can't tell if you're interfacing with the computer or human, you know, at that point you reach like some sort of, you know, intelligent computer, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't tell.
Yeah.
And the whole point of Westworld is you can't tell if this robot on a loop is a human or not. And the human just doing, the thing is because humans, we just do the same thing over and over and over again. And if you think about your life, you commute to work, you come back.
Yeah.
Like you said, you hang out with the friends and eat the same food. You just do the same thing. It's so predictable.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure I'm clear. I think this routine is pretty core to everyone.
Yeah.
I guess what I find to be a little bit different though is Koreans seem to like really feel a sense of comfort and like they like it, I guess. Whereas Americans, if they, I think they're always like feeling if they are, it's called like being in a rut, let's say. Oh, it's just like nothing new. It's seen as a bad thing. Whereas in Korea, it's seen more as like just the norm and that's how it is. I don't know. Yeah.
But there is a term in Korea where they sort of, what's the right word? There's a negative term of describing if you're too much in a routine. It's like 쳇바퀴 돌듯이.
Okay.
You know, like the hamster thing.
Oh, the like hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like that.
At least there is that term in Korean then. Yeah.
And I think it's also related to how risk averse Korean people are. Like trying out new things is always risky.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't want to risk it. Yeah.
When I think about like routine in America, it comes down to who you're with to me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I have these group of friends or, families together, whatever. We're going to get together. And then it's always a question of what are we going to do? Yeah. And I don't know if that is the same for you too. Maybe it seems like Koreans just take that a step further and same people, same things all the time. But that's always the typical question like, oh, what are we going to do tonight? What do we want to do? Where do you want to go? Right? Should we watch a movie? Should we go out? Right?
Yeah.
Do we want to go to a bar? Yeah. So.
Yeah. Again, in real life, if I think about it, even if I think about what we're going to do, there are not a lot of options that I can do.
Come on, is that true?
What are things that you can do in...
I don't know. You could go screen golf, screen baseball, right?
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay, screen baseball.
Amusement parks, right? Like...
That's true. There are only 2 in Korea.
See a sports game, watch a movie, watch a show, right? Musicals.
Yeah.
There's things to do. Come on.
Things to do, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you do that with your friends?
I think for me, it's like in this stage of life with young kids, I think all parents will say the same thing. It's just too hard. But I think now that I see my friends having their kids be a bit older, yeah, I think, they're traveling a lot more, doing more activities, getting into hobbies with others. Yeah. So it seems that way.
Maybe that's why that's one of the reasons why Korean people are very obsessed with traveling abroad.
It's the one thing that they can maybe think to do. Experience something new outside of Korea.
I think so. A lot of my Korean friends who aren't married, sometimes I feel like this obsessive need to go outside, travel. But it's like the same thing over and over again too.
Even when they travel.
Yeah. Because there are things that Korean people do everywhere. There's like always the optimized route.
Yeah. You say they share travel recs and they all copy the same itinerary.
Yeah. I go to some restaurant and I see all the Korean people.
I think in America, this desire to travel and explore the world, of course, that's the same. What I think is different, we've talked about this before, Korea is functionally like an island, right? It's a peninsula with the 38th parallel as the fourth ocean, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's similar with people who grew up in Hawaii. It's like island syndrome. Like you got to get out, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes Korea maybe more desperate to travel compared to Americans.
Yeah.
So, all right. I feel like I learned a lot and, better understand Korean society. So.
You want to wrap it up?
Okay. Well, that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
We hope that you make listening to Korean American podcast your tradition. We hope this is not just a trend.
That's a good one. Yeah.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe. It really means a lot to us.
Yeah, but we wish it becomes a routine.
Also.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be lucky that this becomes a trend, though.
Don't give up or pogi on listening.
Yeah, no endpo.
No endpo.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. See you all next week. Wait, is Jeremy doing something?
Yeah.
Hey, kids.
Do you need something?
On? You just want to watch? Oh, okay. You can watch.
Okay.
Try not to be distracted, Jun.
Yeah.
Emily, 괜찮아? Are you almost done? Emily, you're pooping, aren't you? 아, 혼자 닦을 수 있지? Thanks.